Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. The Honorable to Ma'am Riyanti as a lecturer in the subject Elt Curriculum. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tyari Octhalia from class A1+. In this video, I would like to discuss some topic and read material from what I got in this Elt Curriculum class for this semester. And I will answer some questions. For the topic that I will discuss are curriculum content, process of curriculum design, communicative language teaching, 1984 curriculum communicative approach, and the last is school-based curriculum, KTSP the curriculum 2006. And I will answer for these two questions. The questions is the first, compared to curricula that have been applied in Indonesia since its Independence Day. Analyze the curricula and identify similarities and differences between the two curricula. And the last questions is compare curriculum 2006 and curriculum 2013. Analyze the two curricula and identify similarities and differences. After you list the similarities and differences, write a paragraph explaining which curriculum you think it's better to apply in secondary schools context and give your reason. So, let's get started for the video material. For the first material or topic that I discuss is curriculum content. Curriculum refers to the academic content and lessons taught in the school or educational institution or the specific course or program. Curriculum content is another main level of education quality, the knowledge, skills, and attitudes imparted by learning areas or subject. Cross-cutting approaches and extracurricular activities is a main source of systematic and comprehensive learning. In this case, contents must be in line with the learning experiences, and there must be clear-cut objective to be achieved by the end of each respective lesson. It can be in form of knowledge, skills, attitude, and values that learners are exposed to. Content involves subject matter drawn on the basis of problems, themes, or topics cutting across traditional subjects. The principles of curriculum content. The first is the amount of knowledge and skills, and the second is the sequence of dealing with content, and the third is the level of knowledge, skills, and values must also be considered. For purposes, curriculum content is defined as the subject matter of the teaching learning process, and it includes the knowledge like facts, concept, generalization, principles, and so forth. Process or skills associated with that knowledge base and the values with subjects or whatever is being learned. For the second material or topic, it's about process of curriculum design. Curriculum design is largely concerned with issues such as what to include in the curriculum and how to present it in such a way that the curriculum can be implemented with understanding and success. Therefore, curriculum design refers to how the components of the curriculum have been arranged in order to facilitate learning. The aims of curriculum designs are to make a course that has useful goals, that achieves its goals, that satisfies its users, and that does all this is an efficient way and important recurring. Alright, this is the model of curriculum design process, and I will explain what it's about. Starting from the inner circle, the model puts the goals into the center of the curriculum design in order to emphasize their crucial role in the course, and here the sequence and content represents what in which order to teach. The part format and presentation is generally deals with how to present the language structures to the learners, and the part we plan the lesson, which includes the techniques and activities, and the last component of the inner circle is monitoring and assessing, in which we check the outcomes and evaluate the learning activity and the success of the teaching. For the third material or topic, it's about communicative language teaching. Communicative language teaching can be understood as a set of principles about the goals of language teaching, how learners learn a language, the kinds of classroom activities that best facilitate learning, and the roles of teacher and learners in the classroom. Communicative language teaching sets as its goal the teaching of communicative competence. Communicative competence includes the following aspects of language knowledge: The first is knowing how to use language for a range of different purposes and functions. And the second is knowing how to vary our use of language according to the setting and the participants, knowing when to use a formal and informal speech or when to use language appropriately for written as opposed to spoken communication. And the third is knowing how to produce and understand different types of text like narratives, reports, interviews, and conversation. Roles of teachers and learners in the classroom. Learners now had to participate in classroom activities that were based on the cooperative rather than individualistic approach to learning. Students had to become comfortable with listening to their peers in a group work or pair work task, rather than relying on the teacher for a model. They were expected to take on a greater degree of responsibility for their own learning, and teachers now had to assume the role of facilitator and monitor. Language teaching has seen many changes in idea about syllabus design and methodology in the last 5 years, and CLT prompted a rethinking of approaches to syllabus design and methodology. We may confidently group trends in language teaching in the last 5 years into 3 phases. Phase 1 is traditional approaches up to late 1960s. It's about methodologies based on these assumptions include audiolingualism and situational language teaching. For the phase 2, is classic communicative language teaching from 1907 until 1909. And for the phase 3, it's current communicative language teaching late 1909 to the present. For the fourth material or topic, it's about 1984 Curriculum Communicative Approach. Curriculum 1984 applies based on the decision of the Minister of Education and Culture number 0461 U1983 dated on October 22, 1983 regarding curriculum improvement. This curriculum was compiled because the previous curriculum was considered to have a lot of deficiency. There were 4 aspects that were perfected in the 1984 curriculum, which are implementation of PSPB, Pendidikan Sejarah Perjuangan Bangsa, the second, achievement of curriculum program, objective and structure, and the third is selection of basic abilities and cohesiveness, also similarities between cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains. And the fourth is the implementation of lesson is based on learning constraints that are adjusted to the learner's speed of each student. Communicative approach is based on the idea that learning language successfully comes through having to communicate real meaning. When learners are involved in real communication, their natural strategies for language acquisition will be used, and this allows them to learn to use the language. For the characteristic of communicative approach by Richards and Rogers in 1986, the first is it aims to make learners to attain communicative competence so the learners can use language accurately and appropriately. And the second is the major focus while using CLT approach is on the learners. For the last material or topic is about school or BEDS curriculum or KTSP, the curriculum 2006. KTSP or Education Unit Level Curriculum or School BEDS curriculum is the curriculum developed by the operational and implemented in each education unit or school. This curriculum is implemented based on some regulation, namely, first, the Act UU number 20 in 2003 about the National Education System, and the second is the Act UU number 32 in 2004 about regional autonomy included in education, and the third is the government regulation PP number 19 in 2005 about National Education Standard. The principles of development education unit level curriculum or KTSP are follows: A. Centered on the potential progress, needs, and self-interest of learners and their environment. B. Diverse and integrated. C. Responsive to the development of science, technology, and art. D. Relevant to the needs of life. E. Comprehensive and sustainable. And F. Lifelong learning. There are some advantages of the 1947 curriculum. The first is prioritize education with the concept of awareness as a sovereign nation and prioritize education as one of the important factors in the establishment of Indonesian state through unity and cohesion in the context of spilling colonials. And the second is has a strategic function in uniting the Indonesian nation. And the third is adopt the curriculum that was previously in effect in the colonial period so that it is easier to prepare the 1947 curriculum. The weakness or disadvantage of the 1947 curriculum. The first is leading to colonial education patterns because the 1947 curriculum was also adapted from the colonial period curriculum. And the second is more dominant in the affective domain and not yet oriented to the cognitive and psychomotor domains. And the third is it was not implemented in schools until 1950 so that there were delays in achieving predetermined results. Advantage of the 1952 curriculum. The first is this curriculum has led to a national education system, and the second is the 1952 curriculum has led to a national education system, although it is not evenly distributed in all regions in Indonesia, but it can affect an understanding and aspiration of education practitioners about the importance of equal distribution of education for all Indonesian people. And the third is in the 1952 curriculum, the subject matter was oriented towards the life needs of the students so that learning outcomes could be useful in the midst of society. There are some disadvantages or weaknesses of the 1952 curriculum. The first is there is still a lack of teaching staff, and the second is not supported with adequate facilities. And the third is because the 1952 curriculum was only aimed at the national education system, it was not yet able to reach all parts of Indonesia. The similarities of curriculum 1947 and 1952. The first is both of these curricula prioritize character education and behavior. And the second is both use the name of rencana pelajaran. And the third is both of these curricula pay attention to the linked subject matter with everyday life. Differences between curriculum 1947 and curriculum 1952. The first is the 1947 curriculum did not include subjects, meanwhile the 1952 curriculum included leading subjects in the national education system. The second is the 1947 curriculum of education in Indonesia was still influenced by the Dutch and Japanese colonial education system, while the 1952 curriculum had led to a national education system. Third, the 1947 curriculum put more emphasis on the formation of the character of Indonesian people who were independent and sovereign and equal to other nations on this earth. While the 1952 curriculum, each lesson plan had to pay attention to the content of lessons related to everyday life. And the last is the syllabus of the 1952 curriculum subject is clearer in comparison with the 1947 curriculum. Some advantages of curriculum 2006. The first is encouraging the realizations of school autonomy in administering education, and the second is encouraging teachers, principals, and school management to further increase their creativity in implementing educational programs. And the third is KTSP provides wider opportunities for plus schools to develop curricula according to needs. There are disadvantages or weaknesses of curriculum 2006. The first is lack of human resources that are expected to be able to describe KTSP in most existing education units and the lack of quality of teachers and school. And the second is lack of availability of supporting facilities and infrastructure as a completeness of the implementation of the KTS3. And the last is there are still many teachers who do not understand KTSP comprehensively, but in concept, preparation, and practice in the field. Advantages of curriculum 2013. First, stimulate student education from the start, for example, through early childhood education. And the second is read lines lies with the teacher. Teachers must also continue to boost their abilities through training and education of prospective teacher to continuously improve their professional skills. Disadvantages or weaknesses of Curriculum 2013. The first is the government seems to see that all teachers and students have the same capacity in the 2013 curriculum. Teachers have never been directly involved in the 2013 curriculum development process, and the last is there is no balance between learning process, orientation, and results in the 2013 curriculum. Balance is difficult to achieve because the national exam or ujian nasional policy is still in effect. Differences between curriculum 2006 and 2013. The first is the system used in the 2006 curriculum use competency standards and basic competency subject-based. Each discipline is discussed or grouped into one subject, and in the 2013 curriculum, the thematic-based core competencies or KA are used so that in learning the themes used are reference or teaching materials. And the second is the syllabus used in the 2006 curriculum is the syllabus made by each educational unit based on the national syllabus, whilst the syllabus used in the 2013 curriculum is the syllabus from the center so that all of Indonesia uses the same syllabus. And the third is in the 2006 curriculum, Pancasila education subjects were abolished and replaced with civics education subjects. Whereas in the 2013 curriculum, citizenship education subjects were changed to Pancasila and citizenship education. And the fourth is in the 2006 curriculum, the system used is major, while in the 2013 curriculum, the system used is specialization. And the fifth is, in the 2006 curriculum, the student learning load is too heavy because the number of subjects that are too complex exceeds the student's abilities, while the student's learning load is less and adjusted to student abilities. And the sixth is, in the 2006 curriculum, the number of study hours is less than the number of subjects, where the number of subjects is more than the 2013 curriculum. While the 2013 curriculum has more hours per week than the number of subjects, where the number of subjects is less than the KTSP curriculum. And the last is Curriculum 2006, the assessment standard is more dominant in the knowledge aspect, while the 2013 curriculum standards uses authentic assessments, namely measuring all attitudes, skills, knowledge, competencies based on process and results. The similarity between Curriculum 2006 and 2013. The first is the 2006 curriculum or KTSP and the 2013 curriculum both present text as KD items. And the second is for the structure of the curriculum, both in KTSP and in 2013, both were made or designed by the government, precisely by the Ministry of National Education. And the third is some subjects are still the same as KTSP. And the last is there are similarities in the essence of the curriculum. For example, in the scientific approach, which is essentially student-centered, where students seek knowledge instead of receiving knowledge. Explaining which curriculum you think is better to be applied in the secondary school. So, in my opinion, the curriculum that is suitable to be implemented in secondary school is the 2013 curriculum, because this curriculum has the goal of building a foundation for developing the potential of students or children to become human beings of faith and fear of the one and only God, knowledgeable, independent, responsible, and so on. And also, students are required to be active, where the teacher is only a mediator or facilitator, so that they can become a more independent, creative, and innovative persons in solving problems that exist in schools and emphasizes character education more. In addition, the learning load of students is less according to students' abilities, and the provisions of facilities to support students in learning is very efficient, and assessment standards less to competency-based assessments such as attitude, skills, and knowledge that are proportional, where students do not only emphasize knowledge but attitude and skills include too. I think that's all from my video material. I hope this video can be useful for you all. Thank you so much for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.